this story. More than 500 members of the Muslim Brotherhood have been sentenced to death by a court in Egypt. All of them are supporters of the former President Mohamed Morsi, who was democratically elected in 2012 but deposed in a military coup just a year later. Let's cross live now to Bel True, who's in Cairo for us with the details. Bel, an extremely harsh sentence. Was this expected?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the largest death penalty verdicts, I think, in Egyptian history. We've got 529 defendants who've been sentenced to death in Minya, which is in Upper Egypt. Now, this case refers to a day of violence following the forced clearings of 2 Cairo sit-ins in the capital. We saw a lot of retaliatory violence from supporters of Mohamed Morsi, with people attacking churches and police stations. In this instance, the court ruled that these people did kill a police officer and attempted to kill 2 others. And there were 16 people who were also acquitted in this case. But it's a significant escalation on the behalf of the authorities against the supporters of Mohamed Morsi. They say that the Brotherhood is a terrorist organisation, that the leadership have incited violence, and that the protesters have used force against security forces. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood and its coalition, the Anti-Coup Alliance, they say that all their protests are in fact peaceful and call these kinds of verdicts politicised. So we're going to see quite a lot of tension in the future.
And what sort of reaction do you expect to see on the streets?
Well, with something of this kind of verdict this large, we're going to see quite a significant reaction on the streets on the behalf of the supporters of Mohamed Morsi. They maintain that they are being cracked down on too harshly. We've had at least 16,000 people arrested since the ouster of Mohamed Morsi in July, and they've kept up their protests almost on a daily basis, particularly in the students.
OK, thanks, Bel. We'll leave it there. That's Bel True live from Cairo. But we'll continue with this. We'll get more on this story from Saeed Sadek, a professor from Cairo University. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, look, the Muslim Brotherhood supporters died in clashes too, many people are saying. Do you think we're going to see the same sort of justice towards anti-Morsi activists?
We have to understand that this sentence comes against a certain historical backdrop. In 1981, when Sadat was killed, there was also uprising in Upper Egypt, which is well known culturally for being violent, killing hundreds of policemen and soldiers. In the revolution 2011, 99 police stations were attacked and police officers were killed. Now the state wants to reassert its authority. Otherwise, we will become chaotic like Libya, like Syria. And that's why it was very important that the government and the judicial system sends a strong message that we must protect the state and institutions. This is not a final verdict. This is an irrevocable verdict because you had only 126 present defendants. The rest are still at large. And by law, any capital punishment must go through appeals court. So there will be appeals.
I understand what you're saying there, but are we going to see people from the other side also face justice like this?
Certainly, if somebody kills or attacks the state. I don't see that those who support the regime are attacking police stations, killing officers, or committing atrocities like burning churches. If you remember what happened after the dispersing of the sit-in strike, the armed sit-in strike in Rab'a and Nahda, there were also in Minya, where this incident happened, attacks on churches, burning scores of churches, and attacks on Christians, burning state institutions. And this was one of the institutions that was attacked, a police station. And so what can the government do? If the government decides to be weak, and I have seen even, according to your correspondent in Cairo, I think there was division. I was watching the social media, and many welcomed the sentence and said, finally the state is becoming firm with the terrorists. Finally the state is taking action against criminals.
All right.
You can't let people attack police station, kill police officers, steal weapons, then give them gâteau.
And what about the future? If I can just interrupt, because we are running out of time, but we're talking about the elections Bel True was earlier. I mean, Morsi was elected democratically. Is there significant support, do you think, for the Muslim Brotherhood in the electorate?
Morsi was newly elected, and Egypt is in a transitional democratic. It's a beginning democracy. It's not a well-established democracy. It was a mistake. People began to feel it was a mistake. Even those who elected him are turning against him. There is a fall of political Islam all over the Middle East that had been supported by the United States. Remember, who is supporting political Islam? It is Obama, it is Qatar, it is Turkey. So that shows you that political Islam was a tool of American imperialism in the area to divide Arab countries, to spread chaos in those countries. This is what they call creative chaos, which we have witnessed in Libya, in Syria, and other Arab countries.
Mr. Sadek, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for giving us your opinion. That's Saeed Sadek, professor from Cairo. Thank you.